Welcome to Storm Watch here on the Weather Channel. We are watching a rather quiet weather day across the nation, although there are some places in the west where the rumble of thunder is being heard, and a severe thunderstorm warning about to expire in Arizona. More on that coming up, but first off, our tropical update. Here's the Weather Channel's Dr. Steve Lyons.
Well, thank you, Dan. Welcome to the Tropical Update. We have quite a few things going on in the Atlantic Basin tonight, and almost everything's going on in the area where we would typically expect it for the last 10 days of October, from the 21st to the 31st, which is basically Caribbean, Southwest Atlantic, and Gulf of Mexico. Let's go right into the Gulf first and see what's going on there. We had this low pressure center in the Gulf of Mexico. It's continued to move very slowly to the south. Up in the northern Gulf, we have very strong northerly winds up here, northeasterly winds, running anywhere from 20 to 40 miles per hour, gusting to 40, sustained 20 to 30 miles per hour. Seas are running about 10 to 15 feet. You can see the low pressure center down here. It's in this hole or clear area here, and thunderstorms are developing on the side of it. We've had some winds of 35 miles per hour to the south of it out of the west, at 30 miles per hour along the Mexican coast. So it's very, very treacherous marine environment out there, but we don't expect any tropical development from it as long as the thunderstorms stay away from the center, and it continues to migrate to the south, which is good news, away from the coastline of the United States. We do have Tropical Storm Mitch, however. That tropical depression's now been upgraded, and as of 5 p.m. it was located near 11.5 north, 77.6 west. It's about 460 miles to the south of Jamaica, which is right about there. So it's about 460 miles south of there. And when we look at the satellite imagery, we can see a well-defined, what we call central dense overcast. Now this is a good signature for the general area of where it is, but with this infrared satellite imagery, it's sometimes hard to find exactly where the center is. But there's been aircraft reconnaissance flying in and out of here. They found some 55-knot winds at flight level, and that's why they named it Tropical Storm Mitch. The forecast is to take a gradual drift toward the northwest. So anybody in the general direction of the western and northern and northwestern Caribbean should pay special attention to this system over the next several days. It's forecast to become a hurricane in the next 36 hours as the upper level environment changes to be more favorable than it is right now. Now in the central Atlantic, not too much going on there. We have a line of cloud clusters here. A lot of that's related to an upper level low that's sitting right about in here, and you can see that spin there. That persistent area of shower activity that's over the northern Leeward Islands is now shifted more toward Puerto Rico. We've got some thunderstorm flare-ups there, and also shifted north as well, so there's not too much going on there other than shower activity. Western Atlantic, quiet with the upper level trough in there, keeping everything down well to the south. In the Pacific, we have Hurricane Lester still out there. It's still stationary. As of 2 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 115 miles per hour. But when we look at it right now, it looks rather pathetic. Most of the thunderstorm activity is temporarily dissipated. The center is roughly right there, and almost all the deep thunderstorm activity is well to the southwest. So it's undergone a rather rapid decrease in thunderstorm activity. If this trend continues, we would expect to see that decrease in intensity by the Hurricane Center later. Finally, we're looking at Babs here. It's about its closest approach to the Philippine main area of Manila, and it continues to move on a west-northwest track, dumping huge amounts of rain there. Winds have dropped down as it's moving over the islands, but it's still a very dangerous system in producing heavy rain. Well, now that's it for the tropics. Let's get back to the mainland U.S. with Dan.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Steve. We take a look at the current temperatures, and you can see one of the big stories, or pretty much the big story today, is cold air invading the eastern portion of the country, with temperatures now in the 40s through much of the northeast into the Ohio Valley. Frost and freeze advisories cover a large area from Missouri eastward into parts of New York and down into the Carolinas. High pressure over the middle Mississippi Valley and the Ohio Valley is going to bring conditions favorable for some very frosty weather for you by daybreak. Stay with us for a complete update coming up on Weather Center.
Chilly temperatures are on tap in the eastern U.S. We'll tell you if warmer air will return, plus bring you the latest on the Texas floods on Weather Center after your local forecast.
This program was sponsored by Walls, leading the way outdoors.
If you work outside for a living, you should know Walls makes clothes to fit any job. We've been keeping working folks comfortable for over 50 years, with clothes for every season. Because we know working outside isn't a picnic, unless it's lunchtime. the outdoors.
Walls quality outerwear is available at a retailer near you.
On that coming up, but first it's time for our tropical update. Let's take a look at the very latest, and here's what we're going to be seeing out there. Starting out a bit with some climatology here, and what we're seeing is October 21st through the 31st. 40 storms have occurred back to 1886 in the last 10 days of October. And you can see that the points of origin of these tropical storms and hurricanes are in the Gulf and in the Caribbean, but also out a bit to the east here, but not too far to the east. It's pretty much the end of the season in this part of the world. So it's really more towards the western Atlantic and on into the Gulf and Caribbean that we would look for tropical storms and hurricanes to develop. So here's what we're looking at as we sort of focus in on what's going on in the Gulf of Mexico and in the Caribbean, watching this area right here. Certainly some cloudy and some stormy and windy and rainy conditions here, especially along some of the coastal areas and out over the waters too. We're going to continue to keep an eye on this area, but again, as for right now, not showing much organization, still rather disorganized, but we're going to continue to monitor this area, and you'll want to keep checking back in with us, and if it gets any better organized, we will certainly let you know. As we head a bit off to the east, we have a tropical storm Mitch, which is centered at 12.3 north, 77.6 west. That puts the center about 385 miles south of Kingston, Jamaica. The maximum sustained winds 50 miles per hour, moving to the north at 6 miles per hour, and the pressure 999 millibars. And here's a look at the satellite view with Mitch, and again, we are continuing to watch it moving slowly to the north. We think it may take a turn more toward the northwest gradually, and there is a possibility that it could strengthen as well. So certainly interest in the western Caribbean. Want to keep a real close eye on that, and even points to the north and west. We'll want to keep an eye on it as well. Best thing to do is just monitor the situation at this point, and as things develop, we will keep you updated here at the Weather Channel. So just keep checking back in with us, and we'll give you the very latest information. Again, you can see Jamaica to the north, and again, we'll watch it for you and let you know what occurs. We have had some clouds and some rain here as we head into the northeastern Caribbean, and certainly some showery conditions and messy conditions here, as well as off to the east, but encountering some shear, and so this area of disturbed weather here not expected to develop much, at least not immediately, because of the sort of hostile environment. And again, as we mentioned earlier, not really the season to see any development here off the coast of Africa, and indeed we're not seeing anything that's really catching our eye. Well, now into the Pacific we go with Hurricane Lester, which is centered at 16.8 north, 109 west. That puts the center about 343 miles southwest of Manzanillo, Mexico. The winds 100 miles per hour, moving not much at all. It's more or less stationary. The pressure 979 millibars. Not looking too impressive on our satellite view here. Again, we'll continue to watch it, and if it shows signs of sort of picking back up, we'll let you know. But as for right now, not really too impressive on the satellite picture, but we'll continue to monitor it. And we'll continue to monitor Typhoon Babs, which is really pounding the Philippines here. Wind and rain, and no doubt some problems associated with this. Just what this area doesn't need after Zeb moved through several days ago. So just sort of the second round of tropical weather here, and not good news for the folks in the Philippines. Well, that's it for the tropics. Let's head a little closer to home and take a look at some of those cool temperatures. It's going to be chilly in the east overnight, already dropping down into the 30s and 40s. We have frost and freeze advisories in effect, so bring in the pets and the plants, protect that tender vegetation, because it will be awfully cold tonight for much of the eastern U.S., so watch out for the chilly readings when you wake up tomorrow morning. And stay tuned. Weather Center is coming up next.
Some rivers continue rising to record levels in Texas while others recede. Plus, wind gives bite to chilly temperatures in the eastern half of the nation. Those stories next on Weather Center.
With my family, I'm always cleaning the floors. Some mops I used made me bend down, get my hands wet, or were hard to wring. That was then. This is now. The new Velita floor cleaning system, and you can't beat the system.
Introducing the Velita system from the makers of Rollomatic. It features the Velita quick wring bucket with a special wringer to thoroughly wring water out.
So, no more bending, wet hands, or hard to wring mop.
Plus, the system includes the Velita Pro Mop featuring ultra-strong, durable cloth strips for your tough cleaning jobs. Call right now to get the Velita system with the quick wring bucket and the Pro Mop for only $19.95. Order now and get the super absorbent Velita cotton string mop head free. It's 2 mops in 1.
They're machine washable, too. Hey, if you can't beat the system, buy it.
Call to order your Velita system for only $19.95. You'll get the quick wring bucket and the Pro Mop. Call now and you'll also get the cotton string mop head free. Velita, you can't beat the system.
Looks like Taz just got his AT&T phone bill. Taz,